This is a long-term ownership update on this 2015 Subaru Outback. We actually have owned it since brand new, basically 7 years, because we purchased it in September, and now it is September 2014, and now it's way beyond it, and we actually sold it on. It's going away, so I wanted to give you this ownership update. What we liked about the car, what we didn't like about the car, over 105,000 miles of owning it. So first of all, the body has lasted fairly well. This is Colorado, so of course there's minimal moisture, minimal rust, and so the body condition has been very good. A couple of scrapes here and there. The lights are a little foggy after, like I said, 105,000 miles, but not terrible yet. They may need to be polished just a little bit. I hope you could see that here. The fog lights are a little bit pitted, but once again, everything works. The grille, this chromed out grille, is also a little bit pitted, but overall I think it's lasting pretty good. We haven't had any serious failures with this car as far as mechanically is concerned, but you may have seen some other videos of us talking about this car, and the passenger side window switch, the window regulator, had to be fixed like 4 or 5 times at the dealership. I'm not kidding, probably like 4 times, because it kept going out of it wasn't functioning and wasn't rolling up and down the window, so there was some sort of electrical problem there in the passenger door. The rest of the car, the seats, as you can see, they have lasted fairly well. These are cloth seats. This is Subaru Outback 2.5i, so it has a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated boxer engine. And one other item about the interior, of course, you put your elbow right here all the time. This is the console, and it did crack, so the durability of the console after 100,000 miles, 105,000 miles, is a bit questionable. The other thing about this car, let me pop the hood. Also, like I said, so no major mechanical problems. So we did not have an issue with the CVT, continuously variable transmission. The engine, however, does burn a bit of oil. So about every, well, I want to say 3,000 miles, maybe 4,000 miles, we get a low oil engine check light. And we've been to the dealer, we've asked them several times, please check it. We never saw anything drip. It's always been garaged. And they're basically telling us it's normal. So I'm guessing because the oil is getting thinner, I think this is recommended to have, yes, 0W20. And because of efficiencies and other elements inside the engine, the way it's built, it may be burning a little bit of oil. Not tremendous amount, but some amount. So we had to, like I said, every 4,000 miles, add a little bit of oil to this engine. Otherwise, it's been fairly solid. Not very powerful, but about 175 horsepower. The rest of the car is pretty nice shape. The door, the rear tailgate, the rear hatch of this wagon continues to work fine. There's some snow tires in the back here because we sold it as a package with this car. Let me start the engine really quick. It is kind of a cold morning. Let's see how it starts. there you go, 105,119 miles from brand new. Would we buy it again? Well, my wife has been driving it to work quite a lot over the past 5 to 6 years. We've also taken it on many road trips because it's fairly spacious, especially for a family of 4. It does have heated seats, and I think the answer overall is yes. I would buy it again. I think my wife would agree. She's been really enjoying this car, and it's been relatively efficient. You could see it's full right now and has about 520 mile range. So it can be fairly efficient. We've seen anywhere between 27 to, I wouldn't say, about 29 mpg on daily basis, either driving in town or on longer trips. Sometimes the trip meter is over optimistic. For example, if the trip meter says 31 or 32, it's more like 30. I want to say more like 30 mpg that the car is actually doing when we check it at the pump. It does have the eyesight system. It was one of the first Outbacks with that system. So that system has been working great. Not adaptive, well, it is adaptive cruise control with the distance control right here. But it doesn't restart you after a stop. It will bring you to a complete stop and then ask the driver to keep going. Also, we've had some windshield problems. I don't know if it's due to the windshield defect or just lots of rocks in Colorado, but that's the other issue we have had. So overall, it held up pretty well after 105,000 miles. You can see it's warming up still. The RPMs are kind of high. Transmission is holding up. I've heard stories that Outbacks and other Subarus with a CVT, 100,000 miles is kind of end of life. I've heard that from several people who know, owners or whose friends are owners of these cars. So far, it hasn't been the case for us. There's no sign that this transmission is going away or it's degrading. X mode is here, of course, parking brake. So overall, it's been pretty solid. Like I said, a couple of minor issues. The window switch was very annoying, but overall it served us pretty well, and I would say if we were given a choice, we would buy it again. As always, you can find more stories about everything automotive at tfl-studios.com or tflcar.com, tfltruck.com, and tfloffroad.com. Thank you for joining.